morning, guys. Thanks for coming out. Yeah, I was not prepared for this at all. So yeah, this week, Kevin reached out, sent a message about coming out and speaking if the Play May didn't go through. And I get a response back, hey, he's not going to be able to make it. Could you come out? I'm like, yeah, I could do that. And then a couple days, or another day or so later, he goes, you know what the message is going to be about? And I said, nope. I said, but God will pray about it, and God will reveal to me what it is. You know, so the other night, I woke up in the middle of the night, looked at my clock, and it said 3:16. So I'm like going, okay, so maybe this is a sign, maybe it's 3:16. Looked at my phone at work the other day, that same day, 3:16. I'm like, all right, well maybe this is what God's wanting me to talk about. Got up this morning. My daughters bought me this a couple Christmases ago. So when I would get in the Word, I would not just read it, I would write it down. Opening this up this morning. And guys, this is something John had talked about too. For the guys that don't come out to the war room, you guys need to come out. Iron sharpens iron. We're helping men learn how to leave a legacy. And that's what this is basically about. He asked me what the message was. I went to one of my daily readings today, and the first word was legacy. The first word was legacy. And what kind of legacy do I want to leave? I can remember back in June, and that's when my shoulder was bothering me, and ended up going back to work. Everything was fine, I thought, till come November, and it came back. Come to find out, I had two tears in my neck, and I just worked through it, because that's what us men do. We just go to work and we work through it. So I took a trip down to Tennessee, come back, and these last 5 or 6 weeks I've been off work. And in this time, God's revealed to me what it is that I'm supposed to be doing. I work with a lot of veterans, a lot of guys in recovery. And my pastors asked me multiple times, do you think God's called you into some kind of ministry? And I said something, but I didn't know what. Okay, guys, we all have a calling, a purpose. To share a testimony with somebody. For a lot of us that are in recovery, we all understand where we come from. Almost 21 years ago, I woke up in Tazewell County Jail because I tried to take my own life. God had intervened, had another plan. Sitting right here today, you guys. This was 8/12/21. This is all red letters, guys. The vine and the branches. I am the true vine, and the Father is the husbandman. Every branch in me that beareth not fruit be taken away. And every branch that breatheth fruit, he purgeth it, that he will bring forth more fruit. Now ye are clean through the word which I have spoken unto you. Abide in me, and I in you. As a branch cannot bear fruit of itself, except he abide in me. I am the vine, and you are the branches. He that abideth in me, and I in him, the same bringeth forth made fruit. For without me you can do nothing. Guys, I grew up in the church. I've been a Christian my whole life. But I walked away. I made the choices, had consequences, and always felt like he never wanted me back. That's so far from the truth, guys. We're all here this morning by divine appointment. There's a reason each and every one of us are in this room this morning. And each and every day, we're seeking his will. He reveals more to us what his plan is for us. I had no idea it was going to be what I've been doing for the last over 20 years. But I wasn't doing it all in, because I didn't feel adequate. I didn't feel like I was capable of doing what it is he's calling me to do. But here it says, in the Word that I want him to purge me. I want him to clean out the bad stuff in me so I can be the man he's called me to be, the father that he has called me to be, the grandfather, because now I have 4 beautiful grandchildren. Last night, the wife and I were laying in bed, and we FaceTimed with the youngest one. She's 2. Guys, these are the things I would have missed out on had I went through with taking my own life. He's seen me through my addiction. He's led me into my recovery. And when I let him lead me every day, he continues to bless me. If a man abides not in me, he is cast forth as a branch and is within a man to gather them and cast them out into the fire, and they are burned. I think a lot of times that's how we feel, that we're not good enough, that God doesn't give up on us. But guys, that's the lies from the enemy, telling us that we're no good, everything we ever done wrong. I know I felt that way many a times. I would look in the mirror and hate the man I see. Not being there to be the father that I needed to be for my kids. Not being the husband I needed to be for my wife. Always haven't. Good intentions of, hey, I'm going to do this, but then never follow through. Making promises to my kids that things that I didn't do. But the relationship I have now with my kids, and now my grandkids, they're all blessings that and guys, these tears are not sadness, they're joy. And I think for a lot of us, that's the biggest problem we have is if we have humility or if we're humbled, we're weak. I can't cry. I'm a man. You can't do that. No. Real men do cry, guys. I say you become a real man when you do let them walls down and be submissive to him. It's not to any man or any woman, it's to God. Because I can fight with the best of them, but I got a heart as big. My daughter's the same. daughter Jordan, she says, Dad, don't you cry, because if you cry, then I'm going to cry. But no, that's exactly what it is, though, guys. If you have a calling and God puts something on your heart, don't hesitate. Get out and get involved. Witness to people, because, guys, if you're not seeing what's going on around this world today, our time is short. It really is. I mean, I live in Pekin, and I see things that I hate. I hate seeing what I see walking up and down the street on Derby when I'm driving. And if I can save just one more, then that's what I want to do. And I know that's what I'm partially called to do. And guys, our veterans, we have a lot of veterans out there that are struggling right now. And this is part of what God's put on my heart. It's not just guys in recovery, but guys also that are veterans. I've had a lot of veterans reach out just since I've gotten back from Tennessee. One had just lost his wife a few months ago. And I was on a drive back home, and I just felt led by the Spirit to reach out and make that phone call. And within minutes, I got that confirmation of why I was supposed to make that phone call. A lot of times, guys, I share it like this. If you're a bass fisherman, you feel that first little tug. You kind of wait, and you feel that second. You set the hook. Same way with guys. If you see somebody that you feel God's putting on your heart to reach out to, you feel that second tug, set the hook. There's a reason. He's got so many gifts for us, guys. So many things he wants to reveal to us. And we're not going to do it perfect. I mean, none of us are going to do it perfect. I fall short every day. And I tell guys all the time, I said, I just want to be better today than I was yesterday and better tomorrow than I was today. And that's it. I'm going to get through all this. Guys, this is in John 15, 1 through 14 is where I'm at. If he abideth in me and my word abide in you, he shall ask what he will, and he shall be done unto you. Herein is my Father glorified, that he may bear much fruit. So shall he be my disciples. That's what we are, guys. Each and every one of us in this room is a disciple, whether you believe it or not. We did a thing I don't know, probably a month or two ago, maybe 3 months ago. We were supposed to have a guest speaker, and we were supposed to have a praise and worship team, and none of them showed up. But that was by God's divine appointment. And then Tim did a sermon on testimonies. And if we're going to be obedient till God gives you a calling, putting you on the spot. Basically, whether it's, like I was telling you earlier, 30 seconds in an elevator, 5 minutes, or speaking in front of a bunch of people. Are you going to be obedient to doing that? And I remember Sharon, and I remember CJ getting up and sharing. And I just got back from Tennessee in November. I went down in October, and my dad kind of bamboozled me. I thought I was going down to see our pastor down in Tennessee at the men's breakfast, and lo and behold, that wasn't the case. He knew already I was coming. It was so I could hear my dad share his testimony. And I found out things about my dad I didn't know. And I shared a little bit of my testimony with a couple of the men at the breakfast. So the next morning at church, the director asked, hey, would you be willing to share your testimony? And he was like, well, where do you live? And I said, I'm 6 hours north. He goes, oh, man, I wanted to see if you'd share. And I'm like, well, what weekend does it happen to fall on? And he says, the 19th. Well, I just happened to be down there that 19th for a deer hunting trip. So once again, guys, it's by God's divine appointment. It wasn't by accident. All that stuff happened the way it did. So I went back down there, like I said, in November and shared my testimony. So again, being obedient to the calling, even when you feel like you're not adequate. God doesn't call the equipped, he equips the called. I can remember when my brother and I was doing meter exchanges, and that was on a billboard sign at a church. So, of course, I whipped back around, stopped, took a picture, and that stuck with me ever since. And there's times, though, I still feel like, God, I'm not the person that you're calling to do this. I'm not prepared for this. I don't know what I'm supposed to say. Doesn't matter. If you get out of the way and let God speak through you, he's going to give you the words to speak. And sometimes I think it's still our pride thing of thinking that, well, maybe I'll say the wrong thing or I won't speak it right. We don't worry about that part because usually God's going to speak through us in a way that it's going to touch the people that it needs to touch. So they receive it in the way that they need to receive it. As the Father has loved me, so have I loved you. Continue ye in my love. If ye keep my commandments, ye shall abide in my love. Guys, this is hard to read because this is all Jesus talking in red letters. So when I read that, that's really hard for me to read. When I said I woke up this morning, I wasn't sure I was going to read or what the message was going to be on. When I opened this up and read it all, I wept. Because I know I don't deserve the life I have today. But I'm very grateful for it. And I want to stay obedient to doing everything it is that he's called me to do to the best of my ability. I know there'll be times that I'm still going to struggle. I have kept my Father's commandments and abide in his love. These things I have spoken unto you, that my joy might remain in you, that all your joy may. That all your joy might be full. This is my commandment. That ye love one another as I have loved you. Greater love hath no man that the man lay down his life for his friends. You are my friends. If ye do whatsoever I command you. Any of you guys that are in here that are veterans, you know what that means. And as brothers in here, that's what we do. I would lay down my life for you men, because that's what God would call me to do. And as being veterans, I think of the blessings that I've missed being a veteran all these years and never ever getting as bold as I am now, and knowing how, because I was young. When I got out, I was 26. And now I'm 50 years old, and that's why I say these were my wise whiskers. I'm a lot wiser now than I was when I was in my 20s. Just knowing that we have veterans that are homeless. We have veterans that commit suicide every day. Guys that fought for our freedom, for everything that we have. And that my brother and I, both of our grandfathers served. You know, we followed right behind. We both served. And sometimes I think we forget We forget about them when they come home. And nobody's left behind, guys, nobody. And it's not just the veterans, I'm talking anybody. You're not too busy. I don't have time. I don't have this much, I don't know what to say. I'm guilty as well. I look back at the opportunities I had that I missed. Take that 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it takes. Reach out to that person. Be that brother for somebody. Because, guys, a lot of times we all put on masks. Oh, I'm fine. Everything's okay. I'm good. I'm good. But we're really not. That's why it's so important to reach out and check on your friends, on your brothers. And I seen a thing on TV the other day, or actually on Facebook. It's one of the actors. He says, call your mom, call your dad. Yeah. Don't text them. Don't message them on Facebook, whatever. He said, call them, talk to them. Talk to them as long as they want to talk. Because, guys, I know there's a lot of people that don't have their mom and dads. My brother and I are very fortunate we still do. And I spend a lot of time at my mom's. I go over and have coffee if she needs something, whatever, I'm there. My dad, I try to get down and see him as much as I can. Go down and hunt. Finally got to hunt with him for the first time after 15 years. And so I was raised doing things I enjoyed. Things I'll never forget. Create memories with your family, especially your kids and your grandkids, because they won't forget it. Take them to a movie, yeah, they're probably not going to remember that. Take them on a lake fishing, they're going to remember that. Take them out sitting at a deer stand with you, they're going to remember that. Whatever their hobbies are, whatever things that you enjoy. We get so caught up in this thing called life, this rat race. I got to go to work, I got to make money, got to chase this, got to chase that. I'm guilty too. I did the same thing for years. And where'd it get me? Ended up divorced. I've been back with my wife now for 7 years. So I tell guys this a lot in recovery, is as long as I put this order in this order all the time, and I won't do it perfect, but I put God first. I put my sobriety second, and then my family and my relationship with my spouse, then my job, and then my material things. If I keep that order in line, God will provide the way and everything will fall into place. Guys, this 5 or 6 weeks that I was off work, I lost a lot of money. We're talking a lot of money that I didn't make, but I didn't care. I said, I know he'll provide. The doors will open. I'm not going to worry about the finances. I took this time and spent a lot of time in recovery and meetings, reaching out to people, getting fed by the Spirit in the club, in the rooms, in the AA rooms, and making a lot of contacts and doing God's work, being obedient to that. And then he just keeps revealing more and more to me of what it is he's calling me to do. Had I done that if I'd have been chasing the dollar? I might have done part of it, but I wouldn't have done all that. I would have fallen into that category. I'm too busy. I got this going on. I'll do it tomorrow. I'm glad he set me down and slowed me down by putting my shoulder out of whack for 5 or 6 weeks. And I truthfully believe that he was going to heal it. And guys, it ain't 100%, but I got to remember I'm 50 years old too. But it's workable. I mean, I'm able to work. And they haven't put an eviction notice on my house yet. So I got some food. Got 3 deer in the freezer, so I got plenty of meat for a while. But I'm blessed. I'm blessed beyond, guys. And it's all simply by being obedient is what it really boils down to. This was at church one Sunday. I had wrote in my book for a while. And I had shared with Pastor Mark. I says, I have something I want to share. And I said, this was the last time I've been in my book, once again, in red letters. This is Luke 4:18 and 19. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me. Hold on, I got to read it. Yes, I got to be able to read my own writing. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me because he has anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor. He has sent me to heal the brokenhearted, to preach deliverance to the captives and recovering of sight to the blind, to set at liberty them that are bruised, to preach the acceptable year of the Lord. I remember reading that to him, saying, okay, so this is kind of what God it is that what he wants me to do. But I've always keep putting it on the back burner, putting it on the back burner. We've had guest speakers at our church come up from Florida and laid hands on me and told me that I see things in you that God's got plans for you. And I can remember one Sunday at church, Pastor Mark was praying over me, and one of the elders at the church come down. He laid hands on me and said, God told me to tell you to stop running. But I didn't know what I was running from. Now I know what I was running from. Guys, sometimes that's what we feel, is that I'm not the right guy for the job, and we run. But if God's called you and you've been anointed to do something, eventually you're going to do it. And so I'm done running. I know for me, I'm done running. I'm going to ask him each and every day which direction he wants me to go, what path he wants me to take, who he wants me to reach out to, and ask him to give me the wisdom and the discernment on what to do next and not get in the way of that. Another little note, guys, for us that are coming to the war room, pretty regular. Tim's been doing a thing on restoration. And a couple weeks ago, I come in and I, of course, had the General Lee sitting out front. And I had my General Lee hoodie shirt on. And Tim goes, you're going to really like this one. And I go, oh, yeah, what's that? And he goes, we're restoring a 69 Dodge Charger General Lee, one of the last ones that, I think he said it was the last jump or something. And, but basically, guys, let him tear you down to build you back up is basically what I look at this is. That's what God wants to do if we'll allow it. Let him speak to you in a way that I want to lay down all my burdens, all my sins, and mold me into the man you want to be. We're the clay and he's the potter, guys. Just let him mold you into what he wants you to be.
Amen.
And with that, guys, leads to the legacy of what it is that we want to be remembered as. This guy that made a bunch of money that never spent any time with his kids. No, I don't want to be that. I do a lot of reading. One of my books that I read every year is one talks about a guy saying, you'll never hear anybody laying on their deathbed saying they wish they would have worked more. I know we got to work. I know we got to make money. God knows that too. And he's going to provide. So don't fret over all that. But try to be that legacy that when we pass, that people come in, to give their blessings, to, recognizing you because you imprinted on their life. That's what I want to be remembered as. I don't want to be remembered as, yeah, that guy was a jerk. All he did was work, didn't care about nobody but himself. No, I don't want to be remembered as that. I didn't think I was going to have the turnout that I had here. But I'm glad you guys are all here because my mom sent me a text this morning. Did you sleep okay? So I know what she was thinking was, he's probably up all night, worried about doing this and that. I'm like, there's a couple times I did wake up, but I'm just like, you know what? I'll just pray about it and say, God, get me out of the way and speak through me. And
Let the Spirit lead you.
there's just a couple times that, I choked up, but once again, guys, like I told my daughters many times at church during praise and worship, but during praise and worship, they would see me crying, and they know there was tears of joy. From coming from what I was to what I am today, by His grace and His mercy. We're all a child of God. He's got a plan for all of us. Something we share a lot of times in the meetings is don't leave before the miracle happens. And there's a lot to that, guys. If we continue to keep following after Him, He's going to reveal more to you. And you're going to be going, man, I know that was you, God. Thank you. Just like after I shot that big deer this year, I wept. Thankful for the harvest. Guys, we're only on this rock for so long. Figure out what your purpose is. And if you're really pursuing Him, He's going to reveal it to you. And then you just have to be obedient to follow it. Sometimes it's going to feel hard. Sometimes there's going to be things that, and I can remember Doug telling me that one day when I was down at the altar, and he was our guest speaker, and he said, you're going to have to face some challenges. There's going to be some people you're going to have to cut out of your life. There's going to be some things that you're going to have to cut out of your life. And guys, I look at a lot of stuff that's happened from 2002 till now that God's gotten me through. So anything that you're going through right now, a year from now, you probably won't even remember it. Or you may remember it, but it won't be that big of a deal. So, exactly. And something I told a friend the other day, I look at it like this too, guys. As far as the crying goes, it's like a skin of a snake. You're shedding old skin for new. So yeah, I have no problem crying. The only part of my hate about crying is when I'm wanting to say something, it holds me back. But eventually I get through it. Because God, He just helps me get the word through, But once again, guys, it's your legacy. What do you want to leave behind?
Amen.
And that's all I got, guys. I'm just glad I got an opportunity.
Thank you so much. You know what? I'm a crier. I don't care. You know what? Because I think that's what the Lord cried. Because it says in the Bible, He wept. We have to be more like Jesus all the time, right? So there's nothing wrong with that. Brother, like I said, it's been a pleasure to see you grow up, to walk alongside you. And like I said, someday we'll share our testimonies together because I've got something similar close to yours. But God's got us through it. So I'm going to, everybody want to give Jared another round of applause. Like I said, I know it was God that got him through this. When did Tim tell you that you had to do this? What day was it?
Tuesday, maybe?
Tuesday. We had Doug was supposed to speak, and he will be speaking at the next one on the 28th about emergency 911. Tim just texted me and told me that. But Jared was asked Tuesday to do this, and how many of you guys could be told 3 or 4 days in advance that you're going to be preaching? How many of you could jump up here and do that? I'm sure there's some of you, if you got the calling to do it. I would have never been up here doing what I do, if it wasn't for being in this group with these guys and the Lord getting me through a lot of this stuff. So thank you for your heart. And like I said, give Tim a heads up and said it's a very emotional message that you gave. And that's what we need, guys. We don't need these go to church and get these messages that are rainbows and everything's going to be okay. I mean, the good message. We need to hear from a brother that's been through this stuff, right? Amen? And like I said, I know all of us have got our own stories, and one of these days we're going to open up, and that's what coffee time is too. Sometimes you can come here and leave your testimony. If God leads you, Tim may have an agenda, but when you show up and God says, hey, I want this young man to turn around and tell his story, his testimony, be prepared, okay? We're gonna get offline here. We're gonna go into praise and prayers again, but right before